everyone and welcome back to another YouTube video. I just thought that I'd quickly come on here because I'm aware that some people are now back in their gyms, you lucky little shits. Sadly mine is still not open yet, so I'm stuck still doing home workouts, which is just lovely. So I do actually already have a video up on how to grow your glutes, however it wasn't a great one. So I thought I'd just pop on here and re-explain what that video was about, try and make it a little bit better because that video is like 15 minutes long and it really doesn't have to be. So let's get on with it. First then, you will know, or most of you should know, that you have three different muscles that comprise the glutes. So you have the gluteus maximus, the gluteus minimus and the gluteus medius. The maximus is obviously the biggest one, hence maximus, medius, middle kid, minimus, smallest one. You have to target all three of these muscles in order to get that full round booty look. I tend to see quite a lot of people just training one type of exercise, so they'll do either compound movements or they'll do isolation movements. And really what you need to be doing is a combination of both of these types of things, and I'll tell you why in just a sec. So as you might know then, your muscles are made up of muscle fibers, and there's two types of muscle fibers. There are fast twitch fibers and there are slow twitch fibers. There is actually an equal distribution of fast and slow twitch fibers throughout your muscles. So you have to target them both equally in order to get the maximum potential growth out of your muscles. So slow twitch fibers then. Slow twitch fibers tend to react better to higher rep stuff. So you'd be using a much lower weight in order to target these slow twitch fibers. So slow twitch fibers then are most reactive to exercises that include a much higher rep range with a much lower weight. So you can basically do this by using dumbbells, or you can go with a resistance band, and things like glute bridges, hip thrusts, squats would be really helpful in this situation. So you can still incorporate those compound movements. You should also be targeting the muscle via isolation movements such as donkey kickbacks, straight leg kickbacks, frog pumps. All those kinds of movements will help target the slow twitch fibers in your muscles. Fast twitch fibers then are obviously the ones that react better to higher weight, lower reps. So these are your compound movements. You'd have to incorporate things such as heavy back squats, heavy hip thrusts, heavy glute bridges, Romanian deadlifts, good mornings, Bulgarian split squats. So there's just some examples of the types of exercises that you can do in order to target the fast twitch fibers. As long as you're incorporating both isolation movements and compound movements into your workout, you will do just fine in targeting all of the muscle fibers. So to put it in simple terms, you have to basically break down these muscle fibers in order for them to rebuild and create a muscle that is now adapted to a much heavier load and has also grown in size. Knowing this information then, my biggest suggestion would be to make a split. So pick your days where you're going to do solely compound movements, and then pick a day where you're going to do solely isolation movements. This will basically just ensure that you are actually targeting all of the fibers in your muscles per week. Just to clarify, in case somebody does not know, a compound movement is basically a movement that uses more than one muscle in order to complete it, whereas isolation movements tend to only target one muscle. So things like donkey kickbacks, they really only target the glute. One of the biggest players in the game of muscle growth is progressive overload. So you kind of incorporate this more with your compound movements that I've been discussing, so like your heavy back squats, your hip thrust, your glute bridge, all that kind of stuff. And this is basically the process of where you increase your weight by week. Most likely by week. Some people do it by 2 weeks, some people do it by 3 weeks, some people do it by the month. It completely depends on you and how ready you feel to up your weight. But essentially what progressive overload is the increase of the weight over time in order to build the muscle. So you basically each time are shocking the muscle once again because it has to lift a new heavy load, and then because you have basically introduced this trauma to all of the muscle fibers, they have to rebuild in order to get ready for the next time that they're going to have to lift that same load. So you'll find that gradually lifting that same weight will get easier, but then that is usually the time when you're meant to increase the weight again. And obviously this basically allows the muscle to keep being broken down and to keep rebuilding in order to get bigger and bigger and bigger, which is what we want. We want the big booty. So a second key point is to always activate your glutes. This has been key for me because you cannot go without activating your glutes. I know so many people do, and so many people, you know, they get a bit of growth and stuff, but the time that I really saw the most muscle growth in my glutes was when I started using resistance bands and activation exercises. So I will be uploading a video on a activation workout for you at some point, but in the meantime, just know you need resistance bands and isolation movements. Donkey kickbacks, straight leg kickbacks, fire hydrants, side steps. They're just a few examples off the top of my head. Make sure that you're using a resistance band because they are key in getting the glutes involved and waking them up. So another thing that you can actually introduce into some of these exercises as well is time under tension. This is a good way of increasing the metabolic stress in your muscle. As some of you might know, metabolic stress is one of the key factors in muscle growth. So it has to be present in order for muscle growth to be at its peak. Time under tension means that you add in like a 3-second count or a 5-second count into the movement. So if you're doing like a hip thrust, on the downward movement, you'd count down maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever floats your boat. And the upward movement at the top, you'd squeeze your glutes, hold it there for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, again, your preference. And basically, like I said, this increases the metabolic stress. That burning feeling that you feel in your bum when you do these movements, that's metabolic stress, and that is a good sign that you are doing the right thing. All right, so they are my top tips on how to grow your glute. I hope that this has helped you out. If you did enjoy this video, please leave me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to see more content from me, don't hesitate to click one of the videos on the screen, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.